it's hard not to go immediately into a space of vulnerability, and a space of investigation, and an offering, by definition, is something that is presented outward, and something that offers a lifeline between two forces. So if that force is between you and someone else, or you and the divine, or you and spirit. So when you choreograph work, you're in the space of critique and creation, but you're also in the space of balancing the viewer and trying to equalize that plane and connect with them. And you can't recreate that in rehearsal. It's almost impossible to recreate that. So what you hope is that gesture is the language that creates that lifeline. And gesture is the language. And body is the language. And movement is the language that creates that line, that establishes that road and that connection and cements it into place for that moment that we're being seen. So when I think about movement, and when I think about space, and when I think about performance, it's how can I create scaffolding to lay that road down, to cement it into place. That's sort of my approach.
For me, when I think about an offering, I see that as an intentional act. So to offer, to give, is best for me with intentionality. And so in creating this piece and thinking about what I wanted to do, I just thought to myself, what do I need to say? What do I need to give and experience right now? And I've been spending a lot of time away from my mother, moving away from home and having that reality. And so it just clicked that what I needed was to speak to my mother, to give to my mother, to give an offering of movement and love that she first gave to me, that I wanted to be intentional about giving back. So everything from the music, the dancing, even the wardrobe was just really intentional about my mother. What does she like? What does she see in me? What does she appreciate? So, yeah. For me, it was about, as Khadija said, I embarked on this new journey of moving to Atlanta back in September. And so I moved away from home. And so I've been in search of home, but also still feeling connected to home, which is my mother and my family, without having them in closeness to me. And so in recreating home, imagining the movement lab as home, it's like, what do I do at home? What do I wear at home? Etc., etc. Everything for me started at home. I danced, learned how to dance by way of my mother and by way of her mothers and her mothers, all in the home. I was introduced to studio spaces and these dance spaces very later on in my dance journey, but it always started at home. And so just envisioning this being home and starting from that access point and moving forward is how we created this piece.
So for me, it's a little bit different since I'm a visual artist. But I think in terms of offering, making an offering to the public, to the masses, and to where it's observed, and it could be critiqued, it could be whatever. You're pretty much offering, as an artist, whatever you have, whatever's inside of you, and that's kind of what's expected of you, unless it's really commercial and it's really strict guidelines or something. But for me, the way I painted was the way I paint on walls in the street, sometimes with house paint or with whatever paint I have. And I charge for a mural by the foot, right? But I'll offer something up for free that I'll do in Krog Street Tunnel or something, and it's my offering to the world. It's my offering with that as its fully intention to be just put out and then painted over the next day. It could be something I worked on for 8 hours, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever. But it's kind of just an offering, and you put it out there, and then whatever's going to happen to it is going to happen to it. It could be left up to whatever the universe's plan is for it. And it's just me showing my gratitude in a way for existing and being able to do that, being able to move my body and still paint large scale. I know there are people that aren't able to move their body and get up from a chair and do that, and that's I just have to be grateful for that. So, that's it.
Questions from the gallery? Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
So, what is your creative process when creating together?